And we are live. I have apologies for not having the game, for not having Factorio up. It's just, for whatever reason, when I have two like pre-stream rituals that I guess you could call them, that I like to do. First is get a short walk in, just like 5-10 minutes. Second is shut down my computer completely, so it can like have fresh RAM. For whatever reason, in the shutdown went went fine, but when I started it up, like, it was very questionable. Oh, what happened? Like, it, when I, you know how like on Windows, when you try and like start, when you get to the password screen, you have to like swipe up with your mouse.
We make a product to
Instead of working on himself and his image, Ali Larson decided to blame his entire situation on other people. He'd actually done nothing wrong, and it was just them that were there to cancel him.
I got banned. That's right, countercultured and all that, and a lot of jealous British
first
people,
time I tried
hundreds
logging in,
of British
that went black
people
on
on Twitch gunned me down because in the UK we've got something wrong with society in the UK. No, another country in the world, just the UK. When someone's doing well in the UK, it's called the crab effect. They don't want to see you doing well because they don't like you, because they're doing shit. So they want to take you down.
It was at this point in his quest to find acceptance among the unacceptable, he likely killed any shot he has of growing on YouTube and building a lifestyle he could be proud of, as in his worldview, if he isn't rich and famous, he's a waste of life, loser, nobody.
And it's like, well, I don't want to fucking throw in a towel and go work at McDonald's. I don't want to be a 30-year-old man working at McDonald's. I want to be a somebody. I want to be I want to be a YouTube goddamn star. I want to be a streamer. I want to be a somebody, man.
The issue is, and probably always will be, that if you've grown up on the internet, getting hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views, making tons of money, you probably cannot do anything wrong in your head. You're always correct. Everyone else is always against you. The system, the world, the people. Groscore has no concept of the saying, if everywhere you go it smells like shit, time to check your shoes. He believes he's the victim of cancel culture, not the victims of his actions meeting their rightful consequences. He seems to forget that you are allowed mistakes, and he's evidence of this. He returned from the original mistakes, but when you constantly make them, be given enough rope to prove that you haven't grown or been humbled by them, why would anybody extend you more chances to repeat the cycle? It seems at this stage he's happy to refuse to change, only to make empty promises and placate his ego by blaming others. Maybe he's unaware that you are likely to change people or the world, but the one thing you can change is yourself and the way that you adapt to it. And now to round all of this off and bang home the point of inconsistency, if you're familiar with the Groscore saga, you've likely seen this video.
One of the things I want to be talking about today is cuckery, okay? Because I know right now on the internet, the term cuck is used as an insult. Why?
Ali has been incredibly outspoken in recent months about him and his girlfriend's lifestyle. He claims to love that she does OnlyFans and really enjoys watching other men have sex with her in front of him. But since Ali's life has grown so perpetually online due to his choice to publish it all, we don't have to go back too far to see that things may not be as good as they seem.
She's joined that website. I'm proud of her, and I hope she does really well.
I'm just going to wait for Factorio to finish loading, then in the meantime.
I wanted her to do it half a year ago, and then recently she wanted to do it, so she went and did it.
Now I'll ask you, does that look like the face and tone of a man that's happy his partner is doing OnlyFans? He posted a follow-up video to this after she'd been on the site for just 5 days, confirming that he's having issues with her being super busy chatting to other men who want to have sex with her and fulfilling their private requests for personal.
I guess that's what I get for getting to shut off the Kira TV video. Oh, I was watching using fact. Still not the worst thing I could have accidentally left on. Apologies for that. Just forgot. Oh, hey, it's you. Under normal circumstances, no. It's just I have a very large mod list. This is the space exploration and mod. Also, the ones with check marks are obviously the ones I've got enabled. But anyways, welcome. One of the things that's convenient about Factorio modding is, long story short, the mod loader is built into the game, unlike, say, Skyrim, where you actually have to download an external one. Meaning all you really need to mod the game, as in install mods, not create them, is just an internet connection and a copy of the game. Also, the longer your save is, the longer it takes to load. But yeah. So today we are going to be looking at reacting to what honestly has to be one of the most thorough takedowns I've seen on YouTube. By the way, if the game mute sound is too loud, just let me know and I will gladly adjust it. I think I'll set the autosaves to like 30 minutes from now on, since I'm using the space exploration mod, and that does not require me, and that has me go to other planets. As so. And we're going to this guy today. Hey. No enemies that will threaten us there, so I don't need to like make it save every 10 minutes. You might notice, as you can probably notice, there is no water on this planet, but the good news is I have a way around that. If you want to see what it looks like, here it is. And you may have wonder what this pyramid is, but we will get to that today. I'm just going to let the bots gather everything on me, then I'll get started. Well, everything in my trash, to be specific. Might as well hand over some other stuff that I'm not going to be needing on Granius. It's normally very much faster, or in case you're wondering. And I'm going to show you a very handy exploit you can use before I take off. I've just got to deposit a bunch of stuff I will not be using. The exploit is this. As you can see here, it has a ton of stuff in it. It launch silos. Probably should take a few more centrifuges with me. At least, like, I'll set it to 200 just to be safe, since I will need a lot of those. And while I can't, and just get more later, I'd rather not make any unnecessary trips. Music's probably a bit too loud. But yeah, I'll explain why I need so many of them. It's not because I plan on, like, processing uranium. Just making sure I had enough of these, since I will be shipping quite a few things in with delivery cannons. And in case you're curious what this does, basically I have it set up so that each planet has like its own supply signal where it requests stuff. Of like, where did I put that one? Oh well. Like right here, for example. Basically, what I do is input whatever I want. Like, let's say I wanted blue belts, for example. I just put it here, select the item, and then put it in the and then put the number of items I'd want. Currently, in case you're curious, this planet will require like. Probably should make it down to 40 for 2 rockets, but basically it requires meteor defense ammo for these things, since biters can actually spawn in meteors. Just realized that I forgot to put back the buffer chest after. But anyways, as I was saying, long story short, because this planet actually has biter meteors, that means that meteors will spawn biters when they crash. I need to have it defended somehow, otherwise, well, I'd either have to be there in person, or I'd have the base get overrun. We do not have that problem on Granus, but we do have a different problem. Namely, none of our supplies eat no water. I will not be using these water barrels. And the game actually did think ahead to make sure you do not just bring water fill. Unfortunately, but oh well, what can you do? But I have something different in mind. In the meantime, how about we get the video started? I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I'm still relatively unknown and watch a video making fun of a creator I don't like, who would probably get a bit upset if I watched it while I was much bigger. We're going to watch a video making fun of the quartering, because it is a very thorough takedown. Oh wait, I almost forgot that I muted this, so...
Hello Teabags, and welcome back to another episode of the Willie Mac Show. Today is a big day because we're going to be talking about an even bigger neckbeard than me. Yes, we're going to be talking about the quartering, aka Jeremy.
I'm dying inside, and all I see are demons.
The Quartering is a YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers. His content revolves mostly around anti-SJW videos. In fact, I like to call him the anti-SJW SJW. Now, I could make a video talking about how hypocritical he is. He's the kind of guy that would complain about old tweets being brought up to cancel people when he's done the exact same thing. I could talk about how lazy and brain dead his content is. He just sits there and reads articles, doing no extra research. Like when he uploaded a video about how a primary school apparently had litter boxes in the bathrooms for students that identified as cats.
There's stories swirling all over the internet about a Michigan school allegedly putting litter boxes in their bathrooms for students who identify as cats or who are, I guess, furries in the school. Now, of course, they've denied these claims, and we'll have to leave it up to you to figure out who's telling the truth here.
Bro, you're the one making the video. How is it up to me to figure out the truth? The school says it isn't the case. There's been no evidence of this being the case. So why pretend like it is? It's so lazy. Jeremy's content is so lazy, he will have a sponsorship to read for a video and accidentally cut it off halfway through reading it, ending the video early.
Use code The Quartering at checkout at Meta PCs. I know I'll be getting myself a brand new one before the...
Do they get half their money back since you only read half their sponsorship? The Quartering...
Okay, I'm actually genuinely curious. Like, does this, like, would that actually... I think that might actually qualify the company for a refund, and instead of only paying half. Just let me finish getting... everything loaded in. Before you ask, this is going to be like the send-off flight for this particular one. Because I have another whole array. Hey, so I might as well actually give it the proper setup. That's not what I want to put in there.
The type of guy that'll say something in a video that could be interpreted as racist or homophobic, and he'll catch himself, but he'll just forget to edit it out. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody start a sentence with, "It's not a false equivalency," and then realize by the end he just made a false equivalency.
It's not a false equivalency. My entire point is simple. Change one word. Imagine me saying, hey, I just started exclusivelygames.com. I'm only hiring white people, straight white males, because, I mean, the entire industry is full of, you know, LGBT or women. Now, I guess that wouldn't be a fair equivalency.
No shit, you should have edited that out. Now I could make a 4-hour video on just how...
You know, I could maybe understand and like leaving something in if like it was a live stream, even like he was reacting into stories on air, like the Tipster, if you've ever seen that channel does, but he uploads stuff he records beforehand at a very... And it's more than one per day. Like, it's not like, oh, say, Philip DeFranco, who records a bunch of stories, and then puts them all up into a single story. Like, I don't think he would make a mistake like that, at least not as obvious. Like, he would maybe say something like that, but he would at least catch it in the editing. Just gotta wait for this to fuel up.
flimsy and weak this guy's principles are. He's a walking, talking hypocrite, but if you watched as many quartering videos as I have, you already know that Jeremy doesn't give a shit about his principles, so why should I? Instead, I'm just gonna make a video about how much of a loser he is.
I love hentai, I need hentai in my life. All day, I love hentai, I need hentai in my life.
Jeremy likes cartoons, maybe a little bit more than most people. He was angry about a remake of She-Ra.
For those of you that don't know, this is the original She-Ra. How She-Ra probably should look. Let's take a look at the original beauty from the 80s.
Yo, what the fuck?
Notice that it went.
In case you're curious, I didn't have any opinion on this since I did not grow up watching He-Man and or She-Ra. I grew up in the first decade of this century, and it was just never on.
From a princess, right? Because that was okay back in the 80s, femininity, you know, it was okay for women to be women. Nowadays, that's different, right? We want all of our women to be androgynous or male-like. And notice now all of a sudden she's an orphan. Why? Who knows? Yes, that's right. On the left is the new She-Ra. She-Ra. And here is old She-Ra. I don't know if you notice anything here, but that's a man.
Is it just
You know the funny thing is I don't think Willie Mac's gonna mention this, but there is such a thing as having some connectivity issues. Anyways, you know how there's Bishonen males in anime? Well, there's actually an inverse of that for masculine looking. Oh, God damn it. O2 mini. Okay. But there's as I was saying, but there's also an inversion of that for female characters who have somewhat masculine appearances. The term is bifoxin. And like if you didn't know they were a woman, you'd actually think that they're particularly effeminate looking males. And also the funny thing he seems to forget is that She-Ra also looks significantly younger. I didn't watch the reboot, so it's entirely possible that in She-Ra's reboot, what they ended up doing was basically having her to grow into the appearance she is known for. I don't plan on watching the reboot, so that could also not be the case, but hey, at least I'm presenting an alternate explanation.
because she doesn't have big tits, Jeremy? Is that why?
That's a man. That is She-Ra's body. That is a She-Ra action figure.
Yeah, it's definitely about the titties. I don't really understand because didn't he say the remake was about an orphan girl? And he's mad over the boobs? He then posted a big titty hentai picture on Twitter captioned "Cope." I saw this and I was trying to understand. I'm trying to rationalize in my head. And I thought, you know what? Maybe if I really liked a show growing up when I was a kid and then they remade it with all these changes, I would be upset too. But then he says he never even really liked the show that much.
He-Man was my jam when I was young. And She-Ra, obviously not really, other than, my sister, likes She-Ra.
Then why the fuck do you care? It just makes me think you jerk off to cartoons.
But, I mean, I'm definitely gonna pleasure myself to this picture later. So joke's on you. Joke's on you.
No, Jeremy, the joke is definitely still on you.
But you wonder what little girls, if they are viewing this and it's sold to them as like this female empowerment thing and all that, what do they have to look up to? And you wonder what the young men's generation, the young men of this day are going to have to look forward to in women.
Absolutely nothing. They should all just kill themselves because She-Ra doesn't have tits.
I need you, hentai. You've always been in my life.
Jeremy is the most woke YouTuber I know. He talks more about LGBT, race, and diversity than any other creator. My favorite...
You know, the funny thing is that so far, there has been nothing that Jeremy can and actually like dispute. Willie Mac has actually brought receipts for every claim he makes, and it's very impressive, and the main reason why I chose to react to this.
Take from Jeremy is when he talks about diversity in Apex Legends. Extreme wokeness in Apex Legends proves SJWs are wrong about gamers. Okay, Jeremy, tell me about this extreme wokeness.
If you want me to get real here on a Friday, I don't think that it was a mistake that when you look at the Legends roster and you have a non-binary character, a gay Pacific Islander, a black female with pink hair, a robot that's agender or something like that. You have a female and another female.
We got a female and another female. That's 3 females in one genderless robot? Dude, the politics this game is pushing is way too much. It's way too woke for me. Jeremy, I got a solution for you, man. We get somebody, they could mod the game for you, put some big old titties on that robot. You can get big titty robot for Apex Legends.
And you have, again, just going to put this out there, the only outwardly straight white man.
You know, I'd like to point out that I actually have made a few game mods myself. Nothing particularly impressive. If before you ask, like they're all cosmetic mods. One was for Skyrim, another was for Hearts of Iron 4. I will probably try and make something more in depth at some point, like either if I can like figure out how, or alternatively if I can get a good enough idea for a stream in my head, and I'll gladly make one. But it does say some. Wait a bit. Where do I want to put my bit colony? This isn't like in real life where you'd want to be near the equator. I'm not sure if that's a term exclusive to the Earth.
Male being fat and bearded, also behind a paywall.
Oh, no way. Jeremy's in Apex Legends? People have it dead wrong about Jeremy. I've seen people call him homophobic in the past, sexist, but they forget when Marvel announced their new superhero Valkyrie was going to be LGBT, Jeremy was very supportive, tweeting, "I am here for it. I want full on, full nude, hardcore lesbian sex. No cutaways to sunset. It's gotta be sweaty, slippery, lesbian intercourse with the lights fully on, multiple times throughout the movie. If Disney doesn't do this, then they don't care about inclusion." Well, if you ever wondered what kind of porn Jeremy watches, there you go.
Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia.
Oh, no.
I'll be making fucking dough in the pizzeria.
I didn't expect this to be a slide when I started making this video, but at this point I know too much. We know he jerks off to cartoons, lesbian superheroes, and potentially gendered video game robots. But did you know he had a fetish? During a live stream, he accidentally showed his recent search history, and Force Cream Pie was the first thing that popped up. I wasn't really sure what that was, so I put it in Google, and a bunch of rape fetish porn popped up. I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do with.
I am not double checking that myself. First of all, I don't believe Willie Mac would have any reason to lie to us about this particular thing. And second, I'd rather not have this show up on my my search history. I mean, I do occasionally clear it. I learned that at the hard way, after a mishap on stream. Fortunately, that did not turn. No one really watches my content, so it did not become like a scandal or anything, and I've privated the live stream it appeared in. But yeah, and just because I know you're probably wondering what's in this temple, let me equip the right weapon. I do not want to use a nuclear weapon at short range. That's what this is, by the way.
that information, but since I'm forced to live with it, you should be too. So, congratulations.
You're so fucking ugly and your face is fucking foul. Jeez, you're so fucking loud. Can you shut your fucking mouth?
Jeremy cares a lot about looks. He cares a lot about how his cartoons look, and he cares a lot about how his women look. Famously, he made fun of the way Megan Fox looks.
I stand by that. Megan Fox had way too much plastic surgery and she looks like a cement face, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, being a sexist asshole is one thing, and that's not okay. But let's not pretend for a second that being attractive, male or female, doesn't put you on easy mode for things like Twitch and YouTube. Well, I have to commend the quartering because his looks definitely don't put him in easy mode. In fact, I'm sure it makes it very, very hard for him every day. There's a reason she wears 6 pounds of makeup.
And keep in mind, the quartering is married. If he can find someone who wants to marry him, there is hope for me.
It's not because she wants to. Bro, you try to own people by tweeting out hentai. Shut the fuck up. Help! 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 The quartering isn't exactly the coolest YouTuber out there. One time his wife left his drunk ass in the basement while she went and got pizza for herself, and he was molding the whole time.
My wife went out for pizza without me, and I'm angry about it. So I'm going to win this round, and I'm going to pee. If I don't win this round, I'm going to pee in my own basement.
And he doesn't mean pee in the basement bathroom. Oh, no, no, no. See, he's mad at his wife, so he's going to pee on the basement floor.
I don't have a toilet down here. All I have is a drain in the floor. I feel like we're going to have to use it, though. Get up! Get up! No! Oh my god. I just peed in my basement. No, not in the kitty litter. Just in the drain. In the drain.
Drunk Jeremy is probably my favorite character arc on his channel.
Before you ask, that will not happen on this stream unless like something really bad happens, because it's like, I don't know, like I get trapped in my room because like the hall collapses. I've got a bathroom within in like less than a minute's walking distance near me.
He once uploaded a video completely shit-faced.
This platform is crumbling from the inside out, and they have abandoned creators. I feel so powerless. More and more creators are reaching out to me who are being taken advantage of by people promising to be sponsors, and then they get their channel stolen, their livelihood stolen, and I can't do anything about it.
And I can't do anything about it.
I make these videos, I make another video, I ask you all to please like it and share it, and tag you YT creators on Twitter. Please do that with this one too, because it's literally the only freaking thing I can do. Nothing.
It's okay, Jeremy. I still appreciate your efforts, man. The quartering is someone who's very proud of himself when he helps somebody out. He once what looks like drove himself home drunk from the bar and then posted a video to Twitter making himself emotional about how great he is.
Seriously, I'm so proud of all of you. What good is a platform if you can't do good with it?
Yeah, this guy's wasted in the driver's seat of a car.
I fucking love all of you. Fuck all the haters. For as much drama milking as I do, we do so much more good.
Jeremy, how can you see how much good you're doing when you can't even keep both your eyes open?
And it has absolutely nothing to do with me. And everything to do.
Unironically, if the quartering promised to do every video of his is drunk from now on, I would actually not only subscribe to him, I would even chip a few bucks his way on Patreon just to support his drinking habit. It's actually that funny. Not funny enough for me to subscribe under current circumstances, mind you, but still.
All of you. Seriously, thank you for making me look better than I really am.
You still look like shit.
Poo, pee, pee, penis and vagina. Women with dicks and weak men with vaginas.
Jeremy is very soft. He once nuked his entire Twitter because people were making fun of his dumb tweets so much. Where did all my tweets go? I am changing my approach to Twitter. Fewer tweets, fewer fights, and more chonky dog and cat photos. This is about taking responsibility and taking action. I am very close to leaving Twitter altogether, but I think this will help. So many positive comments in here, but also loads of cancer too. Just proves I was right to do this. You sound like as big of a snowflake as the people you criticized. Jeremy has the amazing talent of turning things around into making himself look like the victim. He's the ultimate SJW. He once tried to cancel a fellow Magic the Gathering creator named Tolarian College for saying it sounds like you traded up when replying to someone losing a follower on Twitter. Jeremy then makes a whole video saying how the guy supports political violence. Because of that one tweet, people then started calling the professor a Nazi, which upset him because he's Jewish. When the professor
Ooh. Yeah, if you don't know, I happen to be of German descent, so like, if that had been my first introduction to the quartering, I probably would have ended up hating the guy regardless, but like, this is the type of reaching you would get for someone who's looking to make a ship for evidence of their ship when said ship consists of two characters who you can count the number of dialogue they've had on lines of dialogue they've had on one hand. And like at that point, just us to find something better to do with your time. What do I want to research next?
Explained why that offended him because he had family who died in the Holocaust. Jeremy immediately twisted into making himself the victim.
I received so many comments about Nazis and the Holocaust and my being one and what I'm doing. And, you know, most of my family died in concentration camps.
Did you just evoke concentration camps to strengthen your video about mean tweets?
No, he's saying why he's not a Nazi. Only Jeremy could twist it this way.
And, you know, most of my family died in concentration camps.
What?
After the professor is done explaining how his family went through the Holocaust, Jeremy then makes a oven joke about roasting the professor.
I don't want to do... All right, fine, hold on. Looks like we're gonna have to roast the professor.
Very based. Jeremy's made tweets, videos trying to cancel Hassan and Ethan for laughing at COVID deaths when he's done the exact same thing. I don't know if Jeremy actually cares about anything he says or if he just does it all for the grift. I'm going with the latter. Dude's a shill.
Why can't we get along? Why can't we get along? Why can't we get along?
What can one say about Jeremy? Well, they can say he's a grifter, how his content is low effort, how hypocritical he is, but most importantly, Jeremy's sentimental. I made some tweets pointing out the hypocrisy of his brand, and as you might be able to guess, he took offense to it. I made some tweets pointing out the hypocrisy of his brand.
Disclaimer, I happen to be a fan of H3H3 and Hassan. If you want to see the videos that but I will admit that that Hassan does have bad takes from time to time. Just let me finish gathering all the scrap and drop a save now that I've landed, and we'll...
comment, and as you might be able to guess, he took offense to it. Actually, he took no offense to it. It didn't bother him at all. He wanted to show how little it bothered him by quote tweeting it several times and arguing with as many people as possible about how little it bothered him. He then leaked DMs of me from 2 years ago showing that I complimented him for helping out another YouTuber with something. I don't really remember what it was, but it seemed like it meant a lot to him, and I don't want to be the guy to take that away. I told him to clutch it, hang on to it, frame it on your wall. You will remember this as the before time. He then reiterated that he doesn't care and said, "Wish you the best, kid." I don't want any bad blood between me and Jeremy. That's why I'm extending the peace offer by giving him this. Yes, my DMs from 2 years ago framed. And unlike his tweet, I actually went through the effort of including the date. So Jeremy, just send me your address, your P.O. box, whatever, and I'll get this mailed right away. Shout out to the Patreon homies. Hellison, Phoebes, Crimson Glass, Zombie Fox, Riveter, Latchkey Gothboy, Jack Mac, Christina Vina, and the mega homies. Reynold Hughes, Marissa Lynn, IGP, Anonymity, Bold Boy Ajax, Yuri Kanapog, Jason Johnson, George is Lost, Your Taxi, Spartan McCowell, and Free Spirit Katie. These people allow me to make the kind of videos I want to make without having to worry about YouTube's monetization system. Remember to follow me on Twitter, and as always, till next time.
Before you ask, I currently do not make any money on these videos. I'm not eligible for monetization, and I hope to be at some point, because I would love to actually just like make YouTube streaming a full-time job. Like, one of the reasons I actually ended up starting streaming was I just want to meet new people. Well, and if I can earn money at the same time, that would be even better. But it turns out that there's a part 2 to this. I have not seen any of this.
Hello, fellow libtards, repubtards. Welcome back to the content audit. Last week, we cooked the quartering, and to nobody's surprise, he acted exactly how we expected.
I don't know why I feel like should I say I'm fine, but I'm not fine.
A key way to know if Jeremy really cares about something is how often he says he doesn't care. Before I even made my first video, I had tweeted some of my main complaints with Jeremy. Mostly how he acts exactly like an SJW, ironically the thing his entire brand is supposed to be against. And I found it funny how his main cope for this was to talk about how much it didn't bother him. You see guys, it bothered him so little that he decided to argue with everyone about everything. When my video finally dropped, I didn't even tag him. Why would I? He said he doesn't care. I'm an internet rando. As soon as my video released, Jeremy was immediately in the replies. Great job, dude. Make sure to run those mid-rolls as well. Thank you, I will. Very big brain takes. I will make sure to take the time to rethink my life and make the proper adjustments. Hopefully you can find more clips from me from years ago to totally own me in part 2. Jeremy, you use old clips of people all the time to try and prove your points. This literally all started with you leaking a 2-year-old DM of me. What, is it no longer funny when I do it back to you? Because I got a kick out of you pissing on the floor and shitting your pants.
Oh my god. I just peed in my basement.
After posting his criticisms of my video, Jeremy then goes on and tells people he never even watched it. I used to watch videos critical of me, but they were almost never in good faith. They were just roasting me, which was 100% fine and usually funny. They all use the same talking points and pretend they're unique or funny, so I stopped. Roasts are great, just not helpful for me. I am open to legit criticism, which you might be surprised gets emailed to me all the time, which I read. The ownage videos don't usually want to help though. They just want to be entertaining, which was 100% okay and awesome. Just don't expect me to watch them. Guys, I have a feeling he watches them. Here's the thing, Jeremy just doesn't act like this towards me. He's always been this way. Tommy C and Nick goofed on Jeremy a little bit for posting a video where he is completely drunk.
I feel so powerless. More and more creators are reaching out to me.
I think it's a funny clip. Jeremy uploaded a video completely intoxicated. He's got to expect to get teased for that. But no, it's Jeremy. See, Jeremy's got to turn himself into a victim, completely ignore what anyone is actually saying, and virtue signal like an SJW.
Oh, haha, yeah.
Before you ask, you won't see any drunk streams from me since I actually do not drink. I know, a bit ironic considering I'm based on, well, James Bond, who has a very famous drink order, but still. Well, if you ever want to see the video that made me decide not to drink, and I actually do know it's on YouTube, I will gladly just ask and I will gladly show it on a future stream.
What a fucking pussy. Me trying to help creators. Ha, fucking roasted. Nobody was laughing at you because you were trying to help someone. They were laughing at you because you were drunk. This next part may sound familiar. Jeremy then goes on his friend's podcast to talk about how little it bothered him.
I don't care. Let me be on the record. I don't care. So in the grand scheme of who cares and who doesn't, I sent a few tweets from the shitter. I'd say that if one of us cared, it's not me.
I don't really care, guys. You're the one who cares. It's not me. Bullshit. If somebody makes a joke at the expense of Jeremy's gonna go on a 24-hour Twitter rant about it. That's the cycle. People criticize or laugh at him for something. He then twists it to make himself a victim, and then virtue signals. He did this with me, the professor, Tommy, and Nick. This guy is so insecure, he did the same thing when someone made fun of his hat. It said memes, stolen valor. And what do you know? Jeremy went on an hours-long drunk Twitter rant about it. Ball busting from friends is always fine. Have you even listened to my podcast with Dank and Bearing? They give me shit all the time. When it comes from some fucking rando, they haven't even earned the benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt about your hat? They need the benefit of the doubt to goof on your hat. Bro, I don't know how you make so many videos attacking other people when you are this soft. And your hat does suck.
Get fisted like Elmo. Slap away the hands like hell no. Jokes drier than elbows on an ethnic man.
I feel like I can't move on to the next point until I talk about Jeremy's drinking. You see, it comes up so often, it's become a bit of a meme for me. He only cares about his hat because he was drunk. He only cared enough.
You know, I have to say, Willie Mac, if you see this while reviewing, like whether it's not or not its fair use, you've got good taste in music for the transitions.
To debate Nick because he was drunk.
I couldn't possibly be drunk tweeting. That's crazy talk.
Right now, you're drunk right now.
Yes!
If you ever plan on getting drunk, make sure not to do it with Jeremy. His activities include sitting in his truck, pissing on his basement floor while playing Fall Guys, and crying on Twitter for hours on end whenever something mean is said about him. I'm starting to think that drinking makes Jeremy extra sensitive, so I propose a solution. See, put down the whiskey and pick up the ganj. Might settle you down a little bit, keep you out of trouble.
No lube. So what you gonna do? If you number one, shove it up your ass and make it number two.
Oh. Jeremy was not very happy with me calling him a grifter, and in usual fashion, he defends himself from an argument I never even made and then pretended to be above it. He reframes me calling him a grifter in a way I never even stated. Yet another big brain critic calls mild success a grift. What is my grift exactly? I have sponsors? I run ads? That's my grift? We're all on YouTube, Jeremy. Why would I criticize you for running ads or having sponsors? That's literally how everybody on this site gets paid. I would never make such a...
I mean, to be fair, there are people who are demonetized who make money off of Patreon, but other than that, yeah, like, the Quartering is one of the few people I will say, without a doubt, is a grifter. You know what, storage, I'd prefer a passive provider chest, but hey, storage boxing works just fine, plus
stupid criticism? You would, seeing how just 30 minutes earlier you criticized me for running mid-rolls. But I wouldn't do that. That makes no sense. Yet another person who simply doesn't understand what the word means. I state very clearly what your grift is. You're an anti-SJW, SJW. Your whole grift is to stir outrage where there is none. Maybe it's about Shivra's titties or Jordan Peele wanting a black lead in his movies. When in reality, I don't think you actually care about anything you say. You do it so you could post 6 times a day. That's your grift. For fuck's sake, guys, when I posted my video, Jeremy was so mad he wanted to debate on his channel. But not with me, with Keemstar. Yo, Keemstar, you're talking a ton of shit. Want to come on my show? Jeremy, the only reason people are talking shit about you is because of my video. The fact that you're trying to turn this into a thing with Keem is a perfect example of your grift. You're dodging me to go after someone with more subs. Either ignore it or confront me.
Got a sad life, go to fucking hell. Are you stupid or disabled, man? I can't fucking tell.
Jeremy really didn't like when I went after some of his older content. I did it because they were some of my personal favorites. But a point I think I didn't hammer home enough is that you can do this with any one of Jeremy's videos. Recently, he talked about the new Lord of the Rings series and how it's too woke. Why? Well, because they wanted some black characters in the show.
You know, it'd be like them rebooting Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with an all-white cast, and then anybody that questioned it calling them racist.
What?
Is it any different than that?
Yes.
Am I oversimplifying? Maybe.
Yes, it's literally all you do. It becomes so ridiculous at a certain point. He literally tries to explain why it's not scientifically possible for a dwarf to be black.
Oh, a race of people that live underground and don't have any melanin in their skin. Let's make them black because that's what people push back against.
Dwarves aren't real, Jeremy. What, we gotta get a top scientist on this before we could cast a black actor in a movie about a magic ring? I mean, come on, dude. Here's the thing. I don't think Jeremy is a racist, even though he may say some things that could be interpreted that way.
Token is for everyone. Right, it is for everybody. Is there something about the characters being white that means Asian people can't watch it?
I think it's a problem that's rooted in Jeremy's content. He finds a topic and he may start off with some legitimate criticisms.
Lord of the Rings fans slam Amazon's female dwarf for not having a beard. By the way, the bearded dwarven women is not even like this tiny small detail that they glossed over. They even mention it, like, I think Gimli mentions it even in the movies.
The female dwarf doesn't have a beard and she should. Okay, fair enough. I understand that. But
you know, I'm of the belief that you could probably get away without doing that as long as you maintain the aesthetic. Like, for example, well, have Avo say someone and have a beard. Wear their hair across their neck in a way that looks like a beard, like the artist Century Chan, and that's how I would do a female dwarf.
then the video does well, so he starts to milk it. Each new video needs to be more ridiculous than the last, till eventually he just starts saying wild ass shit. It's like, what do you mean by that? He once watched a liberal political cartoon.
But you can't deny that the production quality is significantly better than anything I could do. And I started to look into who this Jordan Roth guy even was.
This is the first and only time I've ever seen Jeremy do research before. He looks up the guy's dad.
Stephen Roth is an American real estate investor, chairman of Vornado Realty Trust, and chairman of Alexander's, chairman of JBG Smith. Now that sounds like a resume. Net worth? $1.1 billion. He also donated and helped Donald Trump in his presidential run in 2016. I wonder if that is why Jordan has such... Maybe Jordan and his dad don't get along. I don't know. Roth is Jewish. Why is that important?
I don't know, Jeremy. Tell me.
He's married to a Broadway producer, also Jewish. So you're saying two Jewish billionaires had a son who is in theater and produces propaganda films to push an ideology. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm just reporting the facts here. I don't know. But it's pretty clear to me where Jordan Roth gets his funding to own an entire theater group as well as put out highly produced propaganda films.
Friend zone, friend zone.
We've already talked about how Jeremy is a very insecure person. He's insecure about his content, and he's insecure about his hat. But I think he may also be a little bit insecure when it comes to women. When Kourtney Kardashian tweeted out that she was attracted to gamers, Jeremy let it all out. There's no bigger red flag than a woman saying they like nerds. It's a cringe plea for attention that's been deployed by attractive airheads for years. Who hurt you, Jeremy? Did something happen, big guy?
You know, I'm pretty sure that this is the case where I think that it's best just keep quiet about a subject like I don't really follow most celebrity gossip. Since there is the off chance it could just turn out to be a rumor that someone took and went wild with. Although then again, considering that I think either Kim or Chloe has actually played New Vegas, I actually could buy this. I would say hit me up, but there's no way she's gonna. But I would find it very hard to believe he knows what a pngtuber or a vtuber is. So I'm not even gonna do so jokingly. Listen. Oh, I thought I'd forgotten one of the reactors.
Stick to reruns of Big Bang Theory. Lady nerds like silicon, not silicone. Okay, Jeremy's also gone on weird fantasy rants about Gina Carano.
Gina and I could do an excellent on-screen romance where, like, I'm the best friend. I'm like her best friend, but I pine after her. And then she just keeps banging all these other dudes. And then I'm like all sad. And then she like realizes that I was me all along, and that she comes to, and then she comes to realize it, and then we live happily ever after. Like, I think we could do that. I mean, that's what I think. I just mean, like, I think it's there. She could just keep hooking up with fit dudes, MMA dudes, and then like they don't make her laugh, They don't get her. And then there's me. I'm just like, oh, hey, Gina. Oh, you look tired. Did you bang another dude tonight? Oh, sweet. And then, like, my heart's breaking,
What the fuck is happening? Is this projection? Has this happened to you before, Jeremy? Here's the thing. I can help you. I'm willing to help. I'll get you on Tommy C's love phones. Just tell him your problems, and he'll hook you up with some good advice.
I'm a big guy. I get sweaty. You get that crotch rot.
Well, here's what you do. And here's what you work on. Or you could talk to that girl. Or you could fucking dress a little better, or bathe once in a while, or lose a couple of pounds.
Thanks, Tommy. I think Jeremy really needed to hear that.
Look how fucking awesome I look, guys. I mean, seriously. Could I look more fucking epic?
Is he wearing hand-me-downs? He's fat, and his clothes still look too big for him.
It's been a long day without you, my friend.
So how do I close out a second video on Jeremy? Whether it's his content from a few years ago or stuff he's recently posted, one thing's for certain. The dude hasn't changed. He's still just as cringe and bad faith as any of the people he's ever criticized. He makes up and defends himself from non-existent arguments to discredit his critics. He spurgs and acts like a kindergartner whenever he's made fun of. But at the end of the day, I do have to give Jeremy credit. Jeremy does bring people together. See, I don't think it matters if you're a libtard or a repubtard, because we could all take solace in the fact that Jeremy's just a retard. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Shut the fuck up!
up!
Special thanks to Matt Pitt, Anonymity, Comment Cop, and Smart Alec. They helped with some of the research for this video. I really appreciate it. Follow them, their links are in the description. And as always, shout out to the Patreon homies, Phoebes, Crimson Glass, Zombie Fox, Riveter, Latchkey Gothboy, Jack Mac, Christina Vina, Mac Monkey, and the mega homies, Reynold Hughes, Marissa Lynn, IGP, Anonymity, Hellison, Bald Boy Ajax, Yuri Kinda Pog, Jason Johnson, George is Lost, Your Taxi, Spartan McCowell, Free Spirit Katie, and Detective Pika. These people allow me to make the kind of videos I want to make without having to worry about YouTube's monetization system. And as always, till next time, follow me on Twitter. Don't leave until you follow me on Twitter. Bye.
I'm not transgender, non-binary.
Okay. Hey, I figured I'd choose something making fun of an IRL celebrity next, and since the Flash movie is almost out, I figured, why not go with something about the Star?
Binary, I don't want to be searched by a man. I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man. I claim my Fourth Amendment rights. I got assaulted in this bar twice in a row. I film myself when I get assaulted for NFT crypto art. What's your name? What's your badge number? Tell me your name and your badge number. What key? What did I do wrong?
He's spitting somebody's face.
A guy in that bar declared himself as a Nazi. I have it on film, and he attacked me.
Okay.
Learn it? Did you want to fight? Is that the deal? Whoa, bro.
How do you go from teenage movie star rising through the ranks of Hollywood until you're in some of the biggest franchises on the planet to assaulting women in public for absolutely no reason at all? Well, that's just Hollywood, baby, and if you think these clips were bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. If you watch my channel often, you know I've covered stories about hackers, identity theft, and general fraud dozens of times, and that's why I'm happy to talk today about the sponsor of this video, Aura. Every few seconds, someone's identity is stolen. Every single day, there is a Aura.com/KiraTV. You can get a 14-day free trial right now, and thanks again to Aura for sponsoring this video. On with the content. This is Ezra Miller, born September 30th, 1992 in New Jersey. Ezra grew up in a stable home with two older sisters, a modern dancer for a mother, and a vice president and managing director of Hyperion Books for a father. At age 6, Ezra started training opera to overcome a speech impediment, something they excelled at. They also later dropped out of high school at age 16 to pursue a career on the big screen, a decision that in hindsight worked out fantastically. You've probably seen Ezra in a movie or two, as they've been on the ascendancy through Hollywood since their first ever role in 2008's After School. The movie to really blow up their career though is titled We Need to Talk About Kevin, in which Ezra plays a school shooter that uses a bow to murder several children. A role that Ezra seems to comfortably slip into, as they often do in those of unsettling, intense individuals. Following that, in 2012, Ezra played Patrick in The Perks of Being a Wallflower, a role that was different entirely, but one that Ezra described as manic.
But yeah, you know, I think there's an element to him that I maybe discovered to be a little manic. You know, he keeps the party going.
There's a very clear commonality in the roles Ezra played until this point. They had a talent for portraying the weird, and that isn't solely down to acting.
Do you feel weird? I feel very weird. Do you? Yeah, I mean... In life? Yeah, it's bizarre. Doesn't everybody feel really weird?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I wanted to check on
but
that.
I don't know.
Because you can never be sure. If
everybody feels
the way
weird.
other people feel weird is exactly how...
I don't think it's the same. And nobody is quite casting you as the boy next door. You haven't done that yet.
Yeah, right. It's true.
So do people, agents, managers, people come to say to you, you're a type?
I keep myself in the company of one agent. He understands, or I really feel that he understands me as a person and sees that even though I might be a particular type of weird in the world, that particular type of weird, I think and I hope, lends itself to being able to approach and capture many types of weird.
After a few other movies that I haven't personally seen, such as Madame Bovary, The Stanford Prison Experiment, and Trainwreck, Ezra really hit the jackpot. They would get to play DC Comics' The Flash coming to big screen as part of the push to compete with Marvel for a chunk of that big blockbuster cash cow.
You know, the thing I find kind of strange about this, and this is actually something that has nothing to do with Ezra, so... Ooh, I do not want rocket fuel burning in these. But it kind of shows that they did not know, that DC did not know what they were doing in regards to Batman v Superman. And DC's main strength was arguably the fact that it had a very robust animation department. Like, there is a more competent and alternate reality where they tapped into the fan base of that. Probably also add some more cliff explosives to that request. Oops.
And 2016 being such a big year for the Rising Star, they were also introduced into the Harry Potter universe spin-off, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Beyond 2016, every movie Ezra Miller has been involved in are part of these two franchises, aside from something called Asking for It, and an unreleased film called Dallyland, which reportedly hasn't cut them from the movie but did remove their name from the credits, which might seem odd to you until we go over exactly what Ezra has been doing off-screen for the past few years. It all begins with the minor stuff, as it always does, being caught with 20 grams of cannabis, big deal right, no one cares, and a few other minor run-ins like this, but nothing that sets off alarm bells. Until July 2017, a fan asked if Ezra was drunk, to which they replied that the Flash can't physically get drunk. The fan decided to ask if he could smell Ezra's breath in a clearly joking manner, at which point this happens.
Let me smell your breath.
Because he has a fast metabolism.
Let me smell your breath.
Clearly, Ezra is in fact inebriated in the clip, but that doesn't excuse the fact they kissed a fan without any form of consent, and what surprised me is the reaction people gave to this incident. The fans around cheered, and Ezra joked, "How did it smell?" as they walked away. This isn't the most damning thing in the world, but what it did was clearly illustrate Ezra Miller's eccentric, impulsive, and out-of-control behavior, attributes that almost certainly contribute to the star's ability to portray characters in the believable manner that they do, but ones that need to be checked before they get you in trouble in the real world. Life isn't a movie, and you can't just go around doing things like this. Unfortunately, no one seemed to be checking Ezra, as made clear from the media's reaction to this incident, which shocked me in how much it seemed to be looked over or downplayed as playful or fun, rather than what it was. Following this, more minor incidents, but nothing too major, at least in the public's knowledge. 2020 was the year where, despite the solidified success of Ezra's career, everything started to go downhill, and no one is exactly sure why, though a guess would be mental health complications, and if the situation is anything like most others in Hollywood, some form of substance abuse. The choking of a fan incident, which was caught on camera and went somewhat viral. If you watch this clip without audio, it looks like the fan mistook Ezra for a wrestling star and asked to be chokeslammed. In reality, the fan was excited to interact with them and thought everything was a joke. Ezra was not joking. They had to be dragged off the top of the woman they were choking, escorted off the premises, all the while literally spitting in the face of the bar owner where this occurred. Though there doesn't appear to be any criminal charges filed, an odd result considering if a regular person were to do this in 2020 and have the video spread online, they would face charges and almost certainly lose their job. But hey, Ezra is famous, so I guess you can sexually or physically assault fans on camera, and that's okay. Despite this backlash, companies were fine continuing to work with them. A few months after this, Ezra was arrested in Hawaii following a physical altercation in a bar. People were singing karaoke, and Ezra decided to start screaming obscenities, grabbing the microphone from a woman that was singing, and attacking a man playing darts before police arrived and took them away. A few hours later, Ezra was bailed out by the couple that owned the local hostel they were staying at, something you would think nets you some form of gratitude. Instead, according to that couple, they had to file a restraining order as Ezra immediately began stealing their possessions, which included passports and wallets, and threatening them with, quote, "I will bury you and your wife." Not long after, Ezra was arrested again in Hawaii for throwing a chair at a woman's head, sending them to the hospital with a gash that required stitches, as well as multiple other incidents, as police claim to have arrested them about a dozen times in a handful of months. This behaviour continued with increased frequency for the next 2 years until early 2022. It got so bad, in fact, that executives at the studios Ezra was contracted to were having emergency meetings trying to find out what they could do to stop Ezra's behaviour in public. Of course, they failed. Ezra posted a video on social media in which they ask a local racist group to remove themselves from this mortal realm, and then goes on to threaten them.
Bad Goose Wizard. And this is a message for the Beulahville chapter of the North Carolina Klan. Hello, first of all, how are y'all doing? It's me. Look, if y'all want to die, I suggest just yourselves with your own guns. Okay? Otherwise, keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, and you know what I'm talking about. And then, we'll do it for you if that's really what you want. Okay, talk to you soon, okay? Bye!
Which is odd, considering there was no recorded activity of any racist groups even in this area, so nobody knows exactly who Ezra was threatening. After this, the real allegations began to come in, and they were some of the more disgusting ones you can think of, though not entirely surprising, considering the things that have come out regarding Hollywood in recent years. When Ezra was visiting North Dakota in 2016, they went to Standing Rock Reservation, which is where they met Takata, a 12-year-old girl. At this time, Ezra was 23. They somehow formed a bond and remained in contact, which is already odd for a 23 and a 12-year-old, but things take a turn for the worse when, according to Chase Ironeyes and wife Sarah Jumping Eagle, Ezra flew their daughter to London to visit the set of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in 2017. At this point, the then 25-year-old Ezra allegedly provided the 14-year-old Takata with alcohol, marijuana, and LSD while trying to sleep in the same bed as them. Now, it's important to remember that these are, of course, allegations. I want to make that clear, and I also want to make clear that the flying out did actually verifiably happen. So questions need to be asked of everyone involved in the situation, such as, why did the parents allow their 14-year-old daughter to fly to another continent to stay with a fully grown adult that befriended their 12-year-old daughter in the first place? As well as the people who work on the set of the movie, why were they not questioning that this was going on? According to reports from the parents, Ezra offered to pay for Takata's college tuition through their affiliated organization called Quiet Organization, which didn't end up working out as Takata dropped out of school in 2021 to go and live with Ezra at a farm in Vermont. Takata has since confirmed in an interview that while they were staying with Ezra, they were microdosing LSD, but says their parents are lying and that Ezra is not grooming or abusing them. Despite when they visited in Vermont, they claim Ezra had taken Takata's phone, keys and wallet, as well as left bruises on Takata's body. Regardless of whether there is physical abuse going on, a clearly mentally unstable adult struck up a relationship with a 12-year-old child, flew them across the world to spend time together alone, and allowed or convinced them to leave their parents to go and stay together in their home.
Will burn. It's super simple. It's been said to you a billion times. Not 7 times. Not, we say we're the last prophet every time we come. Yahweh, we are the living. You are done. Burn. Fish fry, baby. This shit is delicious. You ever been to Rwanda? Like you think you're safe anywhere on the land that is my mother's land. Or in the sky. Go to outer space, motherfucker. That's the easiest shit. I sent a bullet in outer space 500 billion years ago to ride a gravitational wave just to destroy your spaceship. That's how I do shit. The Flash, motherfucker. It's timeless. It's Hermes, Trismegistus, thrice blessed. And you're stressed now because you're watching a video some cat took in a car in Rwanda. Ponder that shit. Haile Selassie, Sarasi 3.
Right. This is clearly someone who is incapable of making logical or moral decisions for themselves, let alone a child. A child that has had their head filled with similarly incoherent ramblings for years since they met. According to the Twitter account of Takata's parents, their daughter and Ezra are still missing. They don't know where to find them. On top of this, Ezra seemed to be taunting the parents who were looking for their daughter with posts on Instagram, which of course they have since deleted. If this was the only thing to happen regarding allegations of violence, manic behavior, or grooming of children, that would be one thing, right? Ezra Miller's situation is a whole different thing entirely. Following this, there have been claims made from all over the globe of very similar situations. One such instance comes from Greenfield, Mass on February 2nd, when a family were visiting a neighbor along with their 12-year-old, when Ezra arrived in his bulletproof vest. Yes, Ezra wears a bulletproof vest wherever he travels in the United States, even when going to a friend's house. They described the situation as Ezra acting erratically, and at one point claimed a board game has Rastafarian roots, which somebody questioned, at which point Ezra opened their jacket revealing a gun and said, quote, "Talking like that could get you into a really serious situation." After this, despite the awkwardness of flashing a gun and threatening a family for no reason, according to that family, Ezra turned attention to their 12-year-old who identifies as non-binary alongside Ezra, pestering them with compliments, uncomfortably hugging them, and touching their hips. They also make claims that Ezra's eyes indicated drug use. Then comes allegations from a woman in Berlin who apparently had sex with Ezra in 2020 and maintained a friendship for the next 2 years via text, until Ezra returned to the city and planned to meet up. She invited Ezra over to the apartment, which began friendly, until the woman known as Nadia asked them not to smoke in the apartment, at which point Ezra went off, screaming she was a transphobic piece of shit Nazi, running around the apartment dropping cigarette ash everywhere, touching all of her possessions for about 30 minutes, until Nadia called the police and Ezra left. And of course, there are allegations that while Ezra was living in Iceland for a portion of 2020, they were renting out an Airbnb in which they run a sex cult that included teenagers. And of course, there's the ongoing story that Ezra Miller is allegedly hiding a woman and children from the authorities after they'd been staying with them at their farm in Vermont. The police are still searching for the 25-year-old and her 1, 4, and 5-year-old children, which authorities say Ezra is hiding. The reason the authorities are involved is because the father of the kids contacted them worried about their safety, claiming Ezra has loose firearms in the house, bullets, drugs, and alcohol just lying around in the open. The Vermont State Police continue to search for the woman and children, attempting to execute a court order to take the children away due to them being deemed unsafe. Before the court order, while the mother was being interviewed, she said, quote, "Ezra may have firearms for self-defense purposes and they are stored in a part of the house that the children never go in. My kids are able to relax more into their healing because of the safety and nurturing Ezra has been providing for them." The allegations contradict this statement, as some outlets report the 1-year-old child found a loose bullet and was putting it in its mouth. Following this, Vermont State Police investigated a burglary at a home nearby to Ezra's farm. Someone broke in while the owners were not present and stole bottles of alcohol, and upon reviewing security footage, the police claimed to have probable cause to charge Miller with the offense of felony burglary into an unoccupied dwelling. Now, there's probably more than this, but you get the picture. Ezra Miller is accused, not without some substantial evidence I might add, of doing some absolutely reprehensible things, and so far hasn't faced much of a consequence. While it is important to remember that these are allegations, at least in some cases, the overall picture is incredibly worrying. While I was writing the script for this video, Ezra released a statement in mid-August saying the following: "Having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologise to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behaviour. I'm committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe and productive stage of my life. These statements, of course, follow rumours of...
Oh. Hello there.
potentially being blacklisted from Hollywood due to the last 2 years of headlines involving the once rising star. When someone is accused of doing something one time, it's much easier to give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, maybe it didn't happen, maybe we don't have all the facts. For Ezra, they have been accused of the same thing over and over. An adult making friends with children, flying children across the globe to spend time with, taking them from their family to live on a farm with easy access to drugs by their own admission, consistently assaulting people and going on unhinged rants. All of this makes it very hard to ignore. Even if you take the most disgusting allegations and say that they aren't 100% true, there is enough for me to feel comfortable saying they are a danger to themselves, and most importantly, a danger to those around them, especially when those around them are often children. So in the end, considering what Ezra Miller has done, as well as what they've been accused of doing, I can't help but wonder, is the reason Ezra was so convincing playing psychotic characters because of their skills as an actor, or is it something much darker?
I mean, it's got so bad that half the time the people on TV, inside the TV, they're watching TV. And what are all these people watching? People like me.
This is insane. Oh, this is insane. So yeah, I think we're gonna do one more video, then we'll call it a stream. I figured let's add after two particularly serious videos, something funnier ain't really would be a good like palate cleanser. So what we're going to do is react to this video by this channel I've known for a while called in/frame/out, which it's just like cinematic analysis. This yeah.
That's great news, General. Congratulations.
On the contrary, I mourn.
Okay.
The 1st of April is known for exactly 3 things. The formation of Apple Incorporated, the day Marvin Gaye died, and Mackenzie Davis' birthday. Call me foolish, but if my ignorance of this day in April makes me some kind of fool, then go ahead and call me a stupid month jerk. As we move forward into springtime sunshine and ignore the fact that the world is rapidly turning into a dank pit of polluted garbage, it's nice to just chill out. And when I say chill, I mean directly compare, and when I say out, I mean films. Some of you may find it gauche to pit art against art in a subjective slew of thread-pulling put-downs, and to those people, I say,
well, you know, that's just like, your opinion, man.
What two better films to contrast and critique than 1994's Street Fighter, which features 0 street fights, and 2004's Crash, which crashes and burns somewhere between the tone-deaf racial insensitivity of Driving Miss Daisy and Green Book.
In Frame Out, how are these films in any way comparable?
The plot of Street Fighter is easy to follow, fast-paced fun, where an allied multinational force combats tyranny by kicking it in the face, the chest, and occasionally the limbs. Crash is a convoluted, self-important mess of deeply patronizing and offensive racial stereotypes and a gross oversimplification of socio-economic prejudices faced by persons of color. Street Fighter has a diverse cast representative of a culturally rich America. Latin Americans, Asian Americans, African Americans, Native Americans, and Hawaiian Americans, as well as actors from Australia, India, Belgium, and all over the globe. Their depictions acknowledge their heritage while highlighting a greater global identity free of geographical confines. Crash depicts African Americans as car thieves, Persians as religious zealots, and reduces a diverse ethnic tableau to trite tokens of whimsical plot contrivances and nonsense. This film is ludicrous, and all the better for it. This film features the actor known as Ludacris, and he isn't very good. Just look at this wonderful costume design. I mean, blue camouflage in jungle environments, martial arts robes, this entire iconic outfit, it's all just splendid. Mwah! This is just a bunch of beige, boring ass shirts and suits and shit. Street Fighter is brought to us by the writer of Die Hard.
Hans, Bobby, I'm your white knight.
It's charming, hilarious, and self-aware in a manner that is often misconstrued as unintentionally funny, when in reality they're all well-timed, tremendously delivered comedic barbs.
You don't remember?
For you, the day bison graced your village.
You know, the funny thing is that I'd be willing to bet that there's at least one decent line in most So Bad It's Good movies. I think I have an idea for a podcast if I ever make it semi-big.
Was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Crash is brought to you by the writer of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and Walker Texas Ranger, and has all the charm and subtlety of Chuck Norris trying to solve racism by punching it. Raul Julia, in what would become his final cinematic outing, took a stock megalomaniac villain and molded him into a pastiche of ubermensch posturing and gleeful charisma. As one of the most unsung character actors of the 80s and 90s, this performance is charming and imminently...
Yeah, fun fact, M. Bison was Raul Julia's last role. Oh, he took it for his kids. It's, gotta say, I can absolutely respect that. Kind of makes me wish that he had just ended up retiring as opposed to dying of cancer, because I'd love to, actually be able to praise him in person. Oh well.
Quotable, delivered with a relish and gravitas that showcases a man refusing to phone in a single syllable. Crash is only memorable for its embarrassing soap opera grandstanding and Oscar bait over-emoting theatrics. Veteran actors struggle with leaden dialogue, while miscast supporting parts miss every single beat they aim for. Women are self-reliant, intelligent, and motivated in their various high-ranking, authoritative roles. Each plays an instrumental part in saving the day with equal parts action chops and ingenuity. The women here are dismissed as victims or emotionally unstable supporting characters, while men carry the narrative weight and drive the plot forward, if you can call it a plot, which you barely can. What you may find surprising is this is actually a scathing indictment of eugenics, totalitarianism, war profiteering, and self-interested insular motivations. It warps fascist iconography in order to ridicule it, while posturing that in order to overcome tyranny, it requires us to set aside arbitrary divisions and band together. A muddled hodgepodge that plays out like an infinitely inferior Traffic if it was assembled by 1,000 monkeys with 1,000 typewriters. Its message is, racism is bad, everyone is racist, especially if you're not racist, then you're probably double racist, and achieves this with the lumbering, ham-fisted musings of ill-conceived social unawareness. This film has never been mistaken for a seminal work by David Cronenberg or a deeply subversive novel by J.G. Ballard. Crash is always mistaken for much better works, which is like releasing an Imagine Dragons album and calling it OK Computer. When all is said and done, time is the great healer of these old wounds. Over the last 25 years, estimations of Street Fighter have risen with its high camp, honest-to-goodness fun that plays fast and loose with the source material to build a humble, heart-shaped ode to excess. Crash has slid further into the realm of what the fuck were they thinking, acting as a further blemish on the spotty track record of the Academy Awards in the race to boil down thousands of years of persecution and social toxicity into a sterile, marketable package. Some say that children are the future, others technological advancement. Call me naive, but I like to think the future is Kylie Minogue breaking someone's neck with her legs.
Yeah. I have not seen the Street Fighter movie, but I probably will at some point. I mean, I do enjoy So Bad It's Good movies. But I've always heard people say Crash was a mistake. Like, it was Oscar bait that at the Academy, that the awards unfortunately bit hook, line, and sinker. I've never actually seen anyone defend it. Not even like contrarian. It's like, and it's like Armand White or whatever. I'd be willing to bet that if they had gone with any of the other nominees that year. Here, let me check. Wells. ...2005. Wait. Why the hell was this nominated? But Batman Begins wasn't. Wait. Yeah, like, Batman Begins could have actually been nominated if they had wanted it. Okay. Well, anyways, thanks for tuning in. And I'm Andreas Rebel, and I will see you next assignment.